The vastness of the Galactic Empire stretched across the cosmos, its influence and power unrivaled for centuries. From the towering citadels of the capital world to the distant outposts on the edge of known space, the Empire's rule was absolute, its subjects dutiful and obedient. At the heart of this mighty interstellar civilization sat the Imperial Conclave, a council of the Empire's most prominent leaders and military commanders. It was here, in the grand chamber adorned with holographic displays and gleaming technology, that a momentous discovery was about to be unveiled. Honored members of the Conclave, spoke Viceroy Theron, his voice resonating through the chamber. Our scouts have made a remarkable find, a previously uncharted planet, teeming with life and ripe for integration into the Empire. The assembled officials leaned forward, their eyes fixed on the central holographic projection that displayed the planet in question. It was a vibrant world, with swirling clouds and vast land masses, unlike any they had encountered before. This planet, designated Earth by the local inhabitants, is home to a primitive species known as humans, Theron continued, his tone dripping with condescension. Our initial observations suggest they possess limited technological capabilities and a disorganized societal structure, making them ideal candidates for assimilation into the Empire. A murmur of approval rippled through the conclave, their eyes gleaming with the prospect of adding yet another world to the Empire's ever-expanding domains. The time has come to make first contact with these humans, Theron declared, his chest swelling with pride. I propose that we dispatch a diplomatic envoy to negotiate their swift surrender and integration into the Empire. Surely they will see the benefits of our rule and accept our generous offer without resistance. General Arcos, a seasoned military commander, rose from his seat, his imposing figure casting a shadow over the chamber. While I agree that the humans pose no significant threat, Viceroy, I would caution against underestimating the potential for complications. We have encountered primitive species before who have surprised us with their resourcefulness and tenacity. Theron waved a dismissive hand. Nonsense, General. The humans are a mere curiosity, nothing more. Our technological superiority and military might will ensure a swift and decisive victory. This will be a simple matter of integration, not conquest. The conclave erupted in a chorus of approving murmurs, the members confident in the Empire's ability to subdue this newfound species with ease. And so it was decided. A diplomatic envoy, led by Viceroy Theron himself, would be dispatched to the planet Earth to deliver the Empire's terms of surrender and oversee the process of integration. *****. The skies over the bustling city of New York were clear and calm, a perfect day for the citizens to go about their daily lives. Little did they know that their world was about to be forever changed. High above the towering skyscrapers and bustling streets, a massive spacecraft, unlike anything the humans had ever seen, appeared in the sky, its sleek, angular design gleaming in the sunlight. Panic and confusion swept through the populace as the alien vessel hovered menacingly over the city, its powerful engines radiating an ominous hum. Within moments, a smaller craft detached from the mothership, descending rapidly towards the ground. The people watched in awe and terror as the alien vessel touched down in a nearby park, its doors sliding open to reveal a group of strange, humanoid figures. At the forefront of the alien delegation was Viceroy Theron, his regal bearing and imposing presence commanding the attention of the gathered crowd. With a confident stride, he approached the nervous humans, his eyes sizing them up with a mixture of curiosity and disdain. "Greetings, inhabitants of Earth," Theron boomed, his voice amplified by a device on his chest. "I am Viceroy Theron, representative of the Galactic Empire. We have come to offer you the opportunity to join our glorious civilization and bask in the benefits of our advanced technology and stabilizing influence." The humans, their eyes wide with fear and uncertainty, remained silent, unsure of how to respond to this sudden and bizarre encounter. Theron, undeterred by their lack of response, continued, "Your primitive world, and its resources have caught the eye of the Empire. We have determined that your species, though underdeveloped, has potential value. Therefore, we offer you a choice. Surrender yourselves and your planet to the Empire, or face the consequences of your refusal. A murmur of confusion and alarm rippled through the crowd as the humans struggled to comprehend the gravity of the situation. What did this alien viceroy mean by surrender and consequences? Were they being threatened? Sensing the growing unease, Theron raised a hand, silencing the crowd. You have one solar cycle to consider our offer. Failure to comply will result in the full might of the Galactic Empire being brought to bear upon your world. Do not test our patience or our resolve. With a dramatic flourish, Theron turned and strode back towards the alien craft, his entourage falling into step behind him. The crowd watched in stunned silence as the vessel lifted off the ground and rejoined the massive mothership, disappearing into the sky. As the initial shock wore off, a growing sense of dread and determination settled upon the people of Earth. They had just been given an ultimatum by a powerful alien civilization: surrender or face the consequences. But the humans were no strangers to adversity, and they were not about to go down without a fight. The news of the alien viceroy's ultimatum spread like wildfire across the globe, sowing panic and confusion among the Earth's people. World leaders convened in emergency meetings, desperately trying to devise a coherent response to this unprecedented threat. In the bustling city of Washington, D.C., the President of the United States paced back and forth in the Oval Office, his brow furrowed with worry. We can't just roll over and surrender to these Galactic Empire invaders, he said, his voice laced with determination. We have to show them that humanity won't go down without a fight. The Joint Chiefs of Staff, gathered around the table, exchanged uneasy glances. Mr. President, we understand your sentiment, but we must face the reality of the situation, said the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. These aliens possess technology far beyond our own. Any direct military confrontation would be suicidal. The president slammed his fist on the desk, his eyes narrowing. Then we need to find another way to combat this threat. We can't just sit back and let them take over our world. There has to be something we can do. Across the ocean, in the bustling metropolis of Beijing, a similar scene was unfolding in the halls of power. The Chinese premier, surrounded by her top advisors, listened intently as the latest intelligence reports were presented. Our satellites have confirmed the presence of the alien vessel hovering over New York City, reported the head of the Chinese Space Agency. The craft appears to be using some form of advanced propulsion system, unlike anything we've ever seen. The premier's brow furrowed with concern. And the American response? Have they made any moves to confront this threat? One of the advisors shook his head. Not yet, Madam Premier. It seems the United States is still deliberating on a course of action. The premier's eyes narrowed. Then we cannot afford to wait. We must take matters into our own hands. Gather our top scientists and military commanders. We need to find a way to counter these alien invaders by any means necessary. As the world's superpowers grappled with the reality of the alien ultimatum, a different kind of response was brewing among the people of Earth. In the bustling streets of major cities, grassroots movements began to take shape, with citizens organizing rallies and protests to voice their defiance against the Galactic Empire's demands. In New York, a young activist named Sarah stood atop a makeshift platform, her voice carrying over the roar of the crowd. We will not be bullied by these alien tyrants, she shouted, her fist raised defiantly. We are the people of Earth, and we will defend our home against any who dare to take it from us. The crowd erupted in thunderous cheers, their chants of "No surrender" echoing through the streets. Across the globe, similar scenes unfolded as the people of Earth refused to be cowed by the Galactic Empire's ultimatum. In London, Paris, Tokyo, and countless other cities, citizens took to the streets, their determination and resilience fueling the growing resistance movement. In the midst of this global upheaval, a young scientist named Alex, working in a high-security government research facility, stumbled upon a startling discovery. As he pored over the data collected from the alien vessel's landing, he realized that the Viceroy's claims of technological superiority might not be as straightforward as they seemed. "There's something off about their propulsion system," Alex murmured to himself, his eyes fixed on the holographic display. "The energy signatures don't match anything in our own databases. It's as if they're using a completely different principle of physics." Excited by this revelation, Alex began to delve deeper into the alien technology, his mind racing with the implications. If he could better understand the Galactic Empire's capabilities, perhaps he could find a way to counter them. As the world held its breath, waiting for the Viceroy's deadline to pass, a new hope began to take root. The hope that humanity, with its resourcefulness and tenacity, might just have a chance against the overwhelming might of the Galactic Empire. As the Viceroy's deadline approached, the world held its breath, waiting with bated anticipation for the Galactic Empire's next move. Tensions were at an all-time high, with the global population united in their refusal to surrender to the alien invaders. In the dimly lit confines of the research facility, Alex pored over the data, his fingers flying across the holographic interface. The more he studied the alien propulsion system, the more he became convinced that there was a fundamental flaw in the Empire's technology that could be exploited. "If I can just figure out how to disrupt their power source," he muttered to himself, his brow furrowed in concentration, "maybe we can find a way to disable their ships and give us a fighting chance." Nearby, a senior military officer named Colonel Samantha Harding watched Alex's work with a keen eye. She had been tasked with overseeing the facility's research into the alien technology, and she was impressed by the young scientist's dedication and innovative thinking. "Alex, have you made any progress?" Harding asked, her tone urgent. Alex looked up from his work, his eyes shining with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. "I think so, Colonel. From what I can tell, the Galactic Empire's ships rely on a highly advanced form of energy manipulation that we've never seen before. If we can find a way to disrupt that system, it could give us a significant tactical advantage." Harding's lips tightened into a determined line. "Then we need to move quickly. The Viceroy's deadline is just hours away, and I have a feeling they won't be as lenient as they claim." Across the globe, world leaders were grappling with their own difficult decisions. In the war rooms of the United States, the President and his advisors debated the merits of a preemptive strike against the Galactic Empire's forces. "We can't just sit back and wait for them to attack," argued the Secretary of Defense. "If we hit them first, we might be able to cripple their invasion before it even begins." The President shook his head, his expression grave. "The risks are too high. We don't know the full extent of their capabilities, and a failed attack could provoke a devastating retaliation. We have to tread carefully here." Across the Pacific, the Chinese premier was taking a more aggressive stance. She had already ordered the mobilization of the country's military forces, readying them for a potential confrontation with the alien invaders. "We cannot afford to be passive in the face of this threat," the premier declared, her voice firm and unyielding. "If the Americans refuse to act, then China will take the lead in defending our planet." As the hours ticked by, the world braced itself for the Viceroy's response. Would the Galactic Empire accept the defiance of the humans, or would they unleash their full might upon the unsuspecting planet? Then, without warning, the skies above the major cities of the world were filled with the ominous presence of the Galactic Empire's warships. Massive angular vessels descended from the heavens, their weapons systems powering up with a menacing hum. Viceroy Theron's voice echoed through the streets, amplified by the alien technology. "People of Earth, you have chosen to defy the Galactic Empire. For this, you will be punished." Suddenly, bolts of energy rained down from the ships, devastating the cities below. Towering skyscrapers crumbled, and the streets were filled with the screams of the wounded and the dying. Amid the chaos, Alex and Colonel Harding raced to the facility's command center, their eyes fixed on the unfolding disaster. "We have to do something," Alex cried, his hands trembling. Those weapons are tearing our cities apart. Harding's jaw was set with determination. Then let's give them a taste of their own medicine. All personnel, prepare to fire the prototype energy disruptor weapon. As the Galactic Empire's forces continued their devastating assault, a brilliant beam of energy erupted from the research facility, streaking towards the nearest enemy vessel. The ship shuddered and lost power, its propulsion systems failing as the disruptor weapon took hold. Viceroy Theron's voice boomed with outrage. "What is the meaning of this? How dare you resist the might of the Galactic Empire?" Alex and Harding watched with bated breath as the disabled ship plummeted from the sky, crashing into the streets below. The tide of the battle had shifted, and the humans had struck the first blow against their alien overlords. The news of the research facility's successful attack on the Galactic Empire's warship spread like wildfire across the globe, igniting a new wave of hope and determination among the people of Earth. In the war rooms of the world's militaries, the unexpected development was met with a mixture of cautious optimism and strategic planning. If we can replicate and mass-produce that energy disruptor weapon, the president declared, his eyes gleaming with determination, we might just have a chance of holding off the Empire's invasion. The Joint Chiefs of Staff nodded in agreement, their expressions grim but resolute. "We'll need to divert all available resources to this effort," said the chairman. "Every second counts if we're going to stand a chance against their overwhelming firepower." Across the Pacific, the Chinese premier was equally impressed by the humans' newfound ability to counter the Galactic Empire's technology. "This changes everything," she mused, her brow furrowed in thought. "Perhaps we can forge an alliance with the Americans and pool our resources to combat this common threat." In the chaos of the global crisis, a ragtag group of resistance fighters began to emerge, drawn together by their shared determination to defend their homeworld. At the forefront of this burgeoning movement was a former military pilot named Jack, whose skills in the air had earned him the respect of his peers. "We can't just sit back and let these alien bastards destroy our cities," he growled, his eyes burning with a fierce intensity. "We need to take the fight to them and show these Galactic Empire jerks that they're messing with the wrong planet." Alongside Jack were a diverse cast of characters, each with their own unique talents and motivations. There was Sarah, the passionate activist whose rallying cries had inspired thousands to take to the streets in defiance. Mai, a brilliant young hacker who had already begun infiltrating the Galactic Empire's communications networks, and Amir, a seasoned combat veteran who had seen more than his fair share of battles. Together, they formulated a daring plan to strike at the heart of the Galactic Empire's invasion force, using the research facility's energy disruptor weapon as the linchpin of their strategy. Meanwhile, back at the research facility, Alex and Colonel Harding were working tirelessly to refine and replicate the disruptor technology. "We've managed to create a short-range prototype," Harding reported, her brow furrowed with concentration. "But to have a true impact, we'll need to find a way to scale up the power and extend the weapon's range." Alex nodded, his mind racing with possibilities. "What if we could integrate the disruptor technology into our own aircraft and spacecraft? That way, we could take the fight directly to the Galactic Empire's ships." Harding's eyes widened with excitement. "That's brilliant, Alex. If we can get our hands on some of their propulsion systems, we might be able to reverse engineer the technology and create our own fleet of disruptor-equipped vehicles." The two of them set to work, their fingers flying across the holographic interfaces as they sought to unlock the secrets of the alien technology. Time was of the essence, for the Galactic Empire's forces continued to bombard the cities of Earth, their relentless assault sowing death and destruction in their wake. As the resistance fighters made their final preparations, Alex and Harding raced against the clock, their success or failure potentially determining the fate of the entire human race. The stage was set for a decisive confrontation, one that would test the mettle of Earth's defenders and determine whether humanity would bow to the overwhelming might of the Galactic Empire or rise up and fight for their freedom. As the research facility raced to perfect the energy disruptor technology, The Galactic Empire's relentless assault on the cities of Earth continued unabated. Towering skyscrapers crumbled under the bombardment, and the streets were littered with the bodies of the fallen. Viceroy Theron, his face contorted with rage, watched the destruction unfold from the bridge of his flagship. How dare these primitive humans defy the might of the Galactic Empire? He seethed, his fists clenched tightly. One of his lieutenants, a stoic and calculating individual named Cable, approached the Viceroy with a calm demeanor. "Sir, our forces are making significant progress in subjugating the population, but there seems to be a growing resistance movement that is hampering our efforts." Theron's eyes narrowed, his jaw tightening. "Then crush them, Cable. Use whatever means necessary to quell this uprising. I will not tolerate any further defiance from these insignificant creatures." Cable nodded, his expression betraying no emotion. "As you wish, Viceroy. I will dispatch our most elite units to eliminate the resistance fighters and secure the human cities." Across the globe, the ragtag group of resistance fighters, led by Jack and his allies, were preparing for their daring assault on the Galactic Empire's forces. "All right, listen up, everyone," Jack said, his voice commanding the attention of the assembled group. "We've managed to hack into the Empire's communications network and pinpoint the location of their main command center. That's where we're going to strike." Sarah, her eyes shining with determination, stepped forward. "We can't just rely on the disruptor weapon to save us. We need to show the Galactic Empire that we're not going down without a fight." May, the brilliant young hacker, chimed in, her fingers flying across her laptop's keyboard. "I've been studying their technology, and I think I've found a way to disrupt their communications and navigation systems. That should give us a fighting chance." Amir, the seasoned combat veteran, nodded approvingly. "Good. We'll need every advantage we can get. These aliens may have superior firepower, but we have something they don't: the will to defend our home." As the resistance fighters finalized their plans, Alex and Colonel Harding continued their frantic work at the research facility. They had managed to integrate the disruptor technology into a prototype spacecraft, and now they were testing its capabilities. "The initial tests are promising," Harding reported, her brow furrowed with concentration. "The disruptor beam can effectively disable the Galactic Empire's ships, but we need to increase the range and power if we want to make a real impact on the battlefield." Alex nodded, his mind racing with ideas. What if we could find a way to network the disruptor systems, creating a coordinated fleet of spacecraft that could overwhelm the enemy's defenses? Harding's eyes widened with excitement. "That's brilliant, Alex. If we can get the world's militaries to work together, we might just have a chance of turning the tide of this war." With renewed determination, the two of them set to work, their fingers flying across the holographic interfaces as they sought to unlock the full potential of the disruptor technology. Meanwhile, Viceroy Theron and his Lieutenant Cable were grappling with their own internal conflict. The unexpected resistance from the humans had shaken their confidence, and they were beginning to question the wisdom of their strategy. "This is not going according to plan," Theron growled, his frustration evident in his tone. "These humans are proving to be far more resilient than we anticipated." Cable, ever the pragmatist, considered their options. "Perhaps we should reconsider our approach, Viceroy. A more diplomatic solution may be in order, one that avoids the costly and protracted conflict we are currently facing." Theron's eyes narrowed, his lips twisting into a sneer. "Diplomacy? Bah! The Galactic Empire does not negotiate with inferior species. We will crush this resistance, no matter the cost." As the two leaders debated their next move, the fate of the world hung in the balance. The humans had found a glimmer of hope, but the Galactic Empire's formidable might still loomed large over the planet. The stage was set for a decisive confrontation that would determine the future of humanity. The tension in the air was palpable as the resistance fighters, led by Jack and his allies, prepared to launch their daring assault on the Galactic Empire's main command center. Across the globe, the battered cities of Earth waited with bated breath, their residents clinging to the hope that this desperate gambit might turn the tide of the war. In the war room of the research facility, Alex and Colonel Harding reviewed the final modifications to their disruptor-equipped spacecraft. "We've managed to increase the range and power of the disruptor beam," Harding reported, her eyes gleaming with determination. "If the resistance fighters can draw the enemy's attention, our fleet of spacecraft should be able to cripple their ships and turn the tide of the battle." Alex nodded, his expression resolute. "Then let's put this plan into action. The fate of the world hangs in the balance, and we can't afford to fail." As the last preparations were made, the resistance fighters, their faces set with grim resolve, took their positions, ready to launch their assault. "Remember, everyone," Jack said, his voice low and steady, "we're not just fighting for ourselves. We're fighting for the future of our entire planet. No matter what happens, we can't give up. We have to show these Galactic Empire bastards that we won't go down without a fight." The others nodded in agreement, their eyes burning with a fierce determination. Suddenly, the skies above the command center were filled with the thunderous roar of the Galactic Empire's warships, their weapon systems powering up for a devastating bombardment. "They're on the move," May shouted, her fingers flying across her keyboard. "I'm disrupting their communications, but I don't know how long I can keep it up." Jack's jaw tightened, his grip on his weapon tightening. "Then let's give them something else to focus on. Everyone, move out." The resistance fighters surged forward, their weapons blazing as they engaged the Galactic Empire's ground forces. The streets erupted in chaos, with the alien soldiers struggling to adapt to the humans' guerrilla tactics and relentless onslaught. Meanwhile, high above the battlefield, the disruptor-equipped spacecraft launched from the research facility, their powerful beams of energy lancing out towards the Galactic Empire's warships. Viceroy Theron, his face contorted with rage, watched helplessly as his fleet of ships began to lose power and fall from the sky. "Impossible," he roared, slamming his fist against the bulkhead. "How dare these pitiful humans defy the might of the Galactic Empire?" Lieutenant Cable, his expression calm and calculating, approached the Viceroy with a measured tone. "It would appear that our forces have underestimated the resourcefulness and determination of the human resistance. Perhaps it is time to reconsider our strategy and seek a more diplomatic solution to this conflict." Theron's eyes narrowed, his lips curling into a sneer. "Diplomacy. I will not cave to the demands of these inferior creatures. We will crush their pathetic rebellion, no matter the cost." As the battle raged on, the fate of the world hung in the balance. The resistance fighters, fueled by their unwavering spirit and the support of the disruptor-equipped spacecraft, fought with every ounce of their being, determined to protect their home from the Galactic Empire's tyrannical grasp. The skies above the command center were a swirling maelstrom of energy beams and crumbling warships as the two sides clashed in a desperate struggle for supremacy. The ground forces of the Galactic Empire were in disarray, unable to effectively counter the humans' guerrilla tactics and the devastating strikes from the disruptor weapons. In the chaos of the battle, Alex and Colonel Harding watched with bated breath, their hands clenched tightly as they awaited the outcome. The fate of the world rested on the success of this pivotal confrontation, and they knew that failure was not an option. As the dust settled, and the last of the Galactic Empire's warships fell from the sky, a deafening cheer rose up from the streets below. The human resistance had prevailed, delivering a devastating blow to the invading forces and shattering the Galactic Empire's illusion of invincibility. But even as the people of Earth celebrated their hard-won victory, they knew that this was only the beginning. The Galactic Empire would not take this defeat lightly, and they would undoubtedly return with even greater force, determined to subjugate the planet and its defiant inhabitants. The battle for the future of humanity had just begun. The triumph of the human resistance over the Galactic Empire's invasion forces sent shockwaves across the globe, igniting a new era of hope and determination among the people of Earth. In the aftermath of the decisive battle, World leaders convened to discuss the next steps in their struggle against the alien oppressors. The President of the United States, his expression resolute, addressed the gathered dignitaries. Our victory over the Galactic Empire's forces has proven that we are not a species to be trifled with, he declared, his voice carrying a sense of pride and conviction. Now, we must seize this opportunity to band together and forge a unified resistance against their tyrannical rule. The Chinese premier, her brow furrowed in thought, nodded in agreement. The President is right. The Galactic Empire will not take this defeat lightly, and we must be prepared for their inevitable retaliation. We must pool our resources and expertise to bolster our defenses and strike back at the heart of their empire. Around the world, the people of Earth rallied to the call, inspired by the bravery and resilience of the resistance fighters who had stood up to the alien invaders. Across the globe, new cells of resistance fighters emerged, each with their own unique skills and resources to contribute to the growing movement. At the forefront of this global resistance was Jack and his allies, who had played a pivotal role in the decisive victory against the Galactic Empire's forces. Now they found themselves at the center of a rapidly expanding network of resistance fighters, all united in their determination to protect their homeworld. "We've proven that we can stand up to the Galactic Empire," Jack said, his eyes burning with a fierce determination. "Now it's time to take the fight to them. We can't just sit back and wait for them to return. We have to strike first and show them that the people of Earth will not be cowed by their tyranny." May, the brilliant young hacker, nodded in agreement. "I've already begun infiltrating the Galactic Empire's communication networks and gathering intelligence on their military movements. If we can stay one step ahead of them, we might just have a chance of disrupting their plans before they can launch another invasion." Sarah, her voice filled with a newfound confidence, rallied the growing ranks of resistance fighters. "The world is watching us, and they're counting on us to protect them. We can't afford to fail, not when the future of the human race is at stake." As the global resistance movement gained momentum, the Galactic Empire's leadership grappled with the aftermath of their unexpected defeat. Viceroy Theron, his pride wounded and his authority shaken, convened an emergency meeting of the Imperial Conclave. "This cannot be allowed to stand," he declared, his voice laced with fury. "The humans have proven themselves to be a far greater threat than we ever imagined. We must mobilize our entire fleet and crush this resistance before it spreads any further." Lieutenant Cable, his expression calm and measured, raised a hand to quiet the Viceroy's outburst. "While I agree that we cannot allow the humans' defiance to go unchecked, a more measured response may be in order. A show of overwhelming force could risk further uniting the human population against us." Theron's eyes narrowed, his lips curling into a sneer. "Cable, you dare to question my judgment. The Galactic Empire does not negotiate with inferior species. We will annihilate this resistance movement, and any who dare to stand in our way." Cable sighed, his gaze unwavering. "As you wish, Viceroy. But I fear that this course of action may only serve to inflame the humans' determination and drive them to greater acts of defiance." As the debate within the Galactic Empire's leadership continued, the global resistance movement pressed forward, rallying allies from across the galaxy to join their cause. The people of Earth, once cowed by the might of the alien invaders, now stood united, determined to fight for their freedom and the future of their world. The stage was set for a galactic-scale confrontation, one that would test the resolve of both the Galactic Empire and the human resistance. The fate of the Earth hung in the balance, and the outcome would echo throughout the stars for generations to come. The news of the growing global resistance movement against the Galactic Empire spread like wildfire, igniting a new wave of hope and determination among the people of Earth. From the sprawling cities to the remote corners of the planet, the call to arms resonated as more and more individuals joined the fight to protect their homeworld. At the heart of this burgeoning resistance was Jack and his team of dedicated fighters, their skills and resources honed through the crucible of their previous confrontation with the alien invaders. We've managed to secure alliances with several alien civilizations who have also suffered under the Galactic Empire's rule, Jack reported, his voice carrying a sense of cautious optimism. Together, we stand a fighting chance of taking the battle directly to the heart of their empire. May, her eyes shining with a renewed sense of purpose, nodded in agreement. My intel suggests the Galactic Empire is amassing its forces for a massive counterattack. If we don't act soon, they could wipe out our entire resistance movement in one fell swoop. Sarah, her expression steely with determination, stepped forward. Then we can't afford to wait. We need to strike first and show these alien tyrants that the people of Earth are not to be trifled with. Amir, the seasoned combat veteran, surveyed the assembled group, his gaze grave. This won't be an easy fight. The Galactic Empire has the full might of their military at their disposal. We'll need to be smart and use every advantage we can to turn the tide of the battle. As the resistance fighters finalized their plans, the Galactic Empire's forces began to amass, their vast armada of warships looming over the skies of Earth like a dark omen. Viceroy Theron, his face twisted with a mixture of fury and determination, addressed his captains and lieutenants. The humans have delayed our conquest for far too long. It is time to show them the true power of the Galactic Empire. Lieutenant Cable, ever the pragmatist, raised a cautious hand. Viceroy, our forces have sustained heavy losses in the previous confrontation. Perhaps it would be wise to pause and regroup before launching a full-scale assault. Theron's eyes narrowed, his lips curling into a menacing sneer. Pause. Regroup. No, Cable, we will not show weakness in the face of these inferior creatures. We will crush their resistance and any who dare to stand in our way, with the full might of the Galactic Empire. The captains and lieutenants exchanged uneasy glances, their expressions betraying a sense of trepidation. They had witnessed the humans' unexpected tenacity and resourcefulness, and the prospect of facing them once again filled them with a growing sense of dread. As the Galactic Empire's forces began their assault, the global resistance movement sprang into action, their disruptor-equipped spacecraft and ground forces engaging the alien invaders in a desperate battle for the fate of the world. The skies above Earth were a chaotic maelstrom of energy beams and crumbling warships as the two sides clashed in a titanic struggle for supremacy. On the ground, the resistance fighters fought with a renewed vigor, their tactics honed by their previous victory and the knowledge that the future of their planet hung in the balance. Despite the Galactic Empire's overwhelming firepower, the human resistance refused to back down, their determination fueling their every action. Alex and Colonel Harding, working tirelessly from the research facility, coordinated the deployment of the disruptor weapons, their beams carving a path of destruction through the enemy's ranks. Viceroy Theron, his face contorted with rage, watched helplessly as his forces began to crumble under the relentless assault of the human resistance. Cable, his expression somber, approached the beleaguered Viceroy with a grave tone. Viceroy, our losses are mounting. We must consider a tactical retreat, lest we risk the complete annihilation of our forces. Theron's fist slammed against the bulkhead, the sound echoing through the bridge of the flagship. Retreat. Never. I will not allow these insignificant creatures to defeat the might of the Galactic Empire. Cable's voice remained calm, but his eyes betrayed a hint of concern. Viceroy, if we do not withdraw, we risk losing everything. The humans have proven their resilience and resourcefulness. Continuing this battle may very well lead to our own destruction. Theron's lips twisted into a snarl, his eyes burning with a desperate fury. Then so be it. I will not leave this planet until the last human is crushed beneath the heel of the Galactic Empire. As the battle raged on, the fate of the world hung in the balance. The human resistance, buoyed by their allies and the devastating power of the disruptor weapons, fought with every ounce of their being, determined to defend their home world and drive the Galactic Empire from their shores. In the end, the sheer determination and resilience of the human spirit proved to be the decisive factor, As the Galactic Empire's forces were eventually forced to retreat, their once invincible fleet crippled, and their ambitions of conquest shattered. The people of Earth erupted in a thunderous cheer, their voices echoing across the battered cities and towns. They had stood firm against the alien invaders, and their victory would serve as a warning to the Galactic Empire and the rest of the known universe. The humans were not to be underestimated, and they would fight to the last breath to defend their home world and their freedom.